All right, I would like to call this meeting of the October 20th, 2025 Downers Grove Township Board meeting to order. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? How would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Yes.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can everybody hear me okay? Yep. I just want to make sure before we start. All right, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Supervisor Sick.
Present.
Trustee Zerba.
Yes.
Trustee Moreno.
Here.
Trustee Friel.
Here.
Trustee Soul. Present.
All right, we have a quorum. At this time, we will have public comments. Residents will have an opportunity to speak during the public comment. Comments are directed to the supervisor. We ask comments to be kept to 3 minutes and address Downers Grove Township issues. Please refrain from profanity or personal attacks directed at individuals and be respectful of all residents. We remind you that public comment is not Q&A session. Thank you. No one has signed up for public comment, but is there anyone who would like to make a public comment? All right, seeing that we have no public comments, we will approve the minutes. Are there changes to the minutes that were presented of the September 15th, 2025 meeting? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Is there a motion to approve the trustee audit and approval of bills and claims as presented? We need a motion.
So moved.
Michelle. Is there a second?
Second.
Friel seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Supervisor Savage.
Yes.
Trustee Zerba.
Yes.
Trustee Moreno.
Yes.
Trustee Friel.
Yes.
Trustee Soul.
Yes. All right, the motion has passed. Supervisor report. For my supervisor report today, I do have a guest, Steve Leopoldo from Margin of Error Research, and he is going to discuss the results of the community survey that his firm conducted. So, Steve.
It's on the bottom.
There you go.
Okay, great. Well, yeah, thank you. Good evening. So I'll be summarizing the findings of the 2025 Downers Grove Township Community Survey that we conducted. The survey was designed to measure how residents view the township's direction, how familiar they are with the township services, how they feel, and also how they feel about the proposed 708 mental health board. So first I'll cover basically the summary of the findings, and then I'll go into the actual detailed findings, give you more information. If I get some questions at the end as well, I'll be available for. So overall, the township's operating in a community that feels quite positive. Residents express satisfaction where they have direct experiences with the township, but awareness of what the township does is actually fairly limited. 62% say they're familiar with township services, yet when asked to rate specific programs, many admit that they don't know enough about them to actually offer a substantive answer. Satisfaction among those, though, that do use township services is very strong. And the perceived needs in the community are quite significant, especially around mental health, senior services, and youth enrichment. So when residents were asked about creating a township level 708 board to coordinate and fund mental health and related services, about 7 in 10 said they would support it. But a closer look shows that support depends heavily on their understanding. There's some opposition at roughly 1/4 overall, and it tends to be more concentrated in the village of Downers Grove overall. That's where residents most directly encounter visible homelessness and behavioral health challenges. Also where they question whether the township is the right entity to take this on. Their comments show a mix of empathy and caution. They want solutions, but they're just unsure how this fits with the existing efforts by municipalities in the area, the county, local institutions such as the library. And I'll go into a little bit more details on that as we go across. Just some recommendations just for the township in general to consider. The findings point to a communications gap rather than any kind of performance issue at all. Residents trust the township more when they can see and name what it does. Increasing visibility, explaining how services complement and not duplicate other agencies, and being transparent about funding and oversight will be essential to sustaining public confidence, especially if new responsibilities are considered. So, with that, I'll go into some of the detailed findings of the survey. So the survey starts out with discussing the mood of the residents. So 78% of residents say that the township is headed in the right direction, which is a great number, especially this day and age. And only 11% think things are headed off on the wrong track. Optimism is broad across all age and regional areas of the township, and strongest among younger residents. That overall positivity gives the township a solid foundation for communication, and it suggests residents are open-minded and not, adversarial at all. So, good things from a mood perspective. When it comes to township services, despite the goodwill, real awareness is quite limited. 62% claim familiarity, but familiarity is largely superficial in this case. It's highest among older residents, men and parents, people who tend to have used the township service, but it's lowest among younger adults and women under 50 in particular. So in practical terms, most residents think they know what the township does, but they couldn't really describe it. So we asked specifically about different aspects of what the township does and performs. So where familiarity exists, satisfaction is very high. Dissatisfaction is extremely low, typically 2 to 6% at the most. Programs such as food assistance, transportation for seniors, and community outreach rate well among those who know about them. The larger issue is that nearly half of the respondents couldn't rate many of these services at all. That just really underscores kind of the invisibility of some of these township functions, which once residents are aware of them or use them, they're rated really highly, but it's more of an issue of just awareness. So we also asked about the need for services. So when residents were asked about broader community needs, nearly every service area that we tested reached a 70% or higher level of perceived need. Mental health care, senior programs, youth enrichment, those all led the list, with roughly 4 in 10 calling each very serious as far as the need. So the combination, strong need, low awareness, creates both the challenge and the opportunity for the township. So let's talk a little bit about the 708 board specifically here. The dynamic is clearest on the question of the 708 board. Support is roughly 69% overall, with 44% strongly supportive of the 708 board. Opposition is about 25%, the highest being, again, Downers Grove, like I mentioned in the introduction. Those who already believe the township is headed in the right direction are far more likely to support the board, but others, especially in Downers Grove, uncertainty about the township's role and jurisdiction limits the support, even when they agree that the problems exist and they are real. There's no doubt, even the folks in Downers Grove clearly view the need being out there. It's more of a question of their familiarity with the township. So we also tested priorities. This was done in an open-ended way, so respondents or residents could describe what they'd like to see the township work on. So when asked to name the top priorities in their own words, residents most often mention mental health, substance abuse, or rather substance use, and homelessness. Those concerns outrank roads, taxes, and public safety even. Yet about 1/4 of respondents couldn't name any priority though. And that kind of reinforces that many residents still don't have a clear picture of what the township is responsible for. So I wanted to kind of place a lens, so to speak, on the Downers Grove residents' feedback to kind of pull it apart a little bit and see what's really behind all of that. So these Downers Grove residents in particular tie mental health and homelessness to daily life. They see the challenges in public spaces and near civic institutions in Downers. They appreciate the township's existing services but are uncertain about boundaries. Their comments reflect an awareness that multiple organizations, even including like the library and municipalities, are already engaged in some facets around this issue. And they want reassurance that the township's role would add coordination and not duplication. So those are the key findings. Just to talk very briefly about the methodologies, it's always important to know how we did this. The survey was conducted in September 8th through the 11th. Polling is always a snapshot of time. It reflects the views of people that evening we called. There's always something happening in this world that can change things, right? So this is a snapshot of time. We did use professional live interviewers based in Illinois. We talked to people on landlines and cell phones. The survey reflects the results of 401 adult residents that were interviewed, and we balanced these interviews based on age, gender, and region within the township to make sure it was representative. The results carry a sampling error of just under, plus or minus under 5%, so 4.9 percentage points. So that's a very representative, statistically reliable picture of how residents understand and sometimes misunderstand the township and its role in the community. With that, happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board?
That was my question.
No other questions? Well, thank you. This information will be very useful as we move forward. And I appreciate your time and thoroughness in reading that out. And the trustees all have a copy of that with their packet. Okay, for the rest of my report, we are still waiting for the audit from last fiscal year, which was supposed to be filed at the comptroller's office, but we have an extension from the comptroller's office, and the auditor expects to have it completed soon. And there things that happened in FY '24 after the fire with things that were adjusted in FY '25. That he will get that sorted out. Traffic in the office continues to be heavy with passport applications, RTA reduced fare passes, senior program signups, use of medical lending closet, and we have 3 District 99 interns who are helping with social media, so that is one way we are hoping to get the word out to people. And if you notice on the check-in table, and all the trustees have this very lovely page that Katie prepared that has some of our statistics from this month, but you will see that it has been very active with the passports, 22 new applications, 26 renewals, 80 calls received, and so a lot has been going on. And with the social media, they've created an Instagram account. They had to create a new X account. We had one, but they couldn't get in it. And then they've been refreshing Facebook and Nextdoor. And I have seen more social media posts in the last 2 weeks than I've seen in the whole time that we've been here. So that has been great. General Assistance currently has 11 active grants and has terminated 1. 2 of the grant clients are new to the program. 18 emergency assistance grants totaling $10,292.18 were awarded, and then 91 clients received additional assistance totaling $2,040. Additional assistance included distribution of 39 light bulb 4-packs provided by Commonwealth Edison and 43 LIHEAP applications, which are things that we are not distributing money, but we're distributing time or things that have been donated. But again, general assistance is on this page. Attendance at senior services programs continues to be strong, averaging about 300 people a week. Wednesdays continue to be the busiest day of the week. Several of the senior advisory committee members and senior volunteers decorated cars for the trunk or treat event sponsored by our Youth Services Advisory Committee. And in September, we had almost 1,200 visitors to our 65 activities. We are experiencing some temporary staffing issues. We have one person from senior services on medical leave and another one who is out for another leave of absence. But we will be able to fill in the gaps, and we appreciate everybody's support during that time. The Youth Services Advisory Committee organized a trunk or treat in conjunction with the District 180 Fall Festival at Anna M. Jean School in Willowbrook. More than 200 children participated, visiting the 13 vehicles that were decorated for the event. The township provided fresh apple cider donuts for the festivities. And there were other community partners that provided hot dogs and other popcorn and other treats. The committee is scheduled to meet Tuesday, October 28th, and one additional committee member is on the resolution for committee appointments today. The Mental Health Advisory Committee is scheduled to meet on Monday, November 10th. A resolution appointing a new chair, Corinne Hammond, is on the agenda today, as well as appointments of additional committee members. There was an article in the Daily Herald on Friday about the grassroots effort to establish a 708 mental health board for Downers Grove Township, and that drive is being led by an independent grassroots organization. They are having a kickoff tomorrow? No, November 4th. So stay tuned and you will find out more information about that. But petition, they are gathering petitions to get it on the ballot, and so far that is going very well. Veteran Services Advisory Committee will be ready to begin its work following the appointment of committee members under the leadership of Chair Rick Friel, our trustee, and those appointments are also on today's agenda. In July, that's the last month I have a report from PACE for. There were 165 trips with 175 riders. So most of the trips are single riders, and that could be, there and a ride back. Those are counted as 2 trips. Other things that I have done during this past month is I attended a seminar on public construction projects, which was held in Downers Grove. I met with a patch reporter about general assistance. We attended the Downers Grove Economic Corps annual luncheon. Attended the Township Supervisors of DuPage Legislative Forum that was held in Addison, where we invited all of the Township Supervisors in DuPage, invited all of the state legislators, and we had a very nice discussion about a variety of topics. I attended with 2 staff members, and there were a number of our senior volunteers attended the CARS fundraiser. CARS is Community Assistant Ride Service, and that is a free transportation service for seniors. It is run by volunteers. All the drivers are volunteers. They also deliver library books from the Downers Grove Library, as well as taking passengers. But when they take a passenger to a medical appointment, or I think they'll also take them to the grocery store, the driver stays with them through the course of their appointment and then returns them to their home. They are also in need of volunteers. Attended the DuPage County Behavioral Health Learning Collaborative, which was a meeting with Chair Deb Conroy, some of the county staff, and mental health board chairs and township supervisors throughout the township to discuss the more global issues around basic mental health boards right now. And will be getting assistance in how to proceed in setting up the mental health board from the people who have already done that. And as we've mentioned before, we are the only township in DuPage that does not have a mental health board. I attended the Just Us Seniors meeting again this month. That is just a very essential group for us because the seniors that attend come in with ideas of things they would like to see or things that we can do better. And it is, I enjoy going to that meeting. As well as the Senior Advisory Committee, I attended that. We get about 20 to 30 people representing various agencies that attend the Senior Advisory Committee meetings. Tom and I attended the Darien City Council meeting to introduce ourselves in public comment. I interviewed people for the Mental Health, the Veterans, and the Youth Services Advisory Committee this month, and that's how we came to the rest of our appointments. The Metropolitan Township Association had a symposium that Rick Friel and I attended, and it included a workshop on budget development process and also one on understanding mental health boards. And there was a speaker from the treasurer's office there that discussed some of the programs available from the treasurer's office. I also attended the unincorporated Willowbrook Coalition meeting, which was a Zoom meeting, and they also were very involved in the fall festival that we attended at Anna Jean School. And then last week there was a Township Officials of Illinois General Assistance Training Institute, which reviewed the application and interview process for the program, very detailed, and also the specific requirements that must be met to qualify. But the General Assistance Handbook is about this thick, maybe about 4 inches thick. And there was also one on emergency assistance, which our staff member, Dorothy, has. And then I met with County Board Chair Deb Conroy earlier today, and we discussed things about the mental health board. We discussed the county's concern about the cuts in SNAP funding, and that was a big discussion at our General Assistance training on Friday. SNAP benefits will be cut on November 1st. And there are, I believe, 77,000 people in DuPage County that utilize SNAP benefits. So it is a large number of people that will be affected. And as we mentioned last month, the Fish Food Pantry does need resources, food. They will accept cash donations, check or cash. And they are also still in need of volunteers at some particular times. So if you have any interest in helping fish out, they have a website and you can find out the hours that they will be available. And that concludes my supervisor report. Are there any questions from the trustees? Michelle?
Do you know what the percentage of the cut will be for SNAP? Did they
I
say?
think it's going to be completely cut out. I'm not sure if that is the case, but it will have a big hit across the whole country.
So that's a federal, basically elimination of the SNAP program.
Yes. Other questions from the board?
Does everybody know what SNAP?
It's a supplemental nutrition assistance program, and it provides food to people who meet certain economic thresholds.
Is it a provision of, probably not cash, but money for them to utilize in the,
But it used to be called food stamps.
Yes,
They
okay.
get a card.
yeah. So their cards are not going to be recharged as of November 1st, is that kind of?
That is what my understanding is, unless the government passes a continuing resolution. Okay. Hearing no more questions, we'll move on. Assessor report. Assessor Bolts was unable to attend tonight, but he reports that they are in good shape with their property assessment appeal process, and they should have that wrapped up shortly. But that has gone very smoothly. Moving on to the Highway Commissioner report. Tom?
Thank you, Ken. This will work. Oh, here it is.
Can you hear me? I guess you can. All right, I'll keep a little further from now. Starting out, so October is our paving month. We're roughly 40% through all the paving in the township that we budgeted for. What's unique this year and this time in the township, we are using a process called heat scarification, which has never been done in our township before. And what this allows us to do is fix about 50% more roads than we would normally do. So we're spending roughly around $1 million, and that equates to about 2 miles of roads. However, with heat scarification, we can do a little over 3 miles of roads. How does that work? You're probably all wondering, and I wish I had a video hooked up. But ultimately what we do is we go over the roads with one semi that heats the asphalt, all right? And prior to heating the asphalt, actually make sure all the potholes are filled. So there's no empty space, no voids. So some areas will go a couple inches deep and fix the subbase if that's an issue. We'll go over with one truck, heat up the asphalt, then a second truck to heat it up one more time, and we will regrind the asphalt. And then we will but we will flatten it afterwards. So we actually get into a truck, take it somewhere, and new asphalt will be brought in, usually around 4 inches. In this situation here, or in our paving job here, we will bring 2 more inches of asphalt once we're all done. So we do get fresh asphalt on top, but we use the old asphalt as a binder and a subbase. So we're about 40% through on that. The next item here, just want to let you know, we are putting a camera security system in the garage. So currently there's just one camera and it doesn't work. So we've noticed in my time here, people will sometimes throw couches over the fence. They'll throw tires, they'll throw garbage. And so by having a security camera, we can capture potentially license plates, potentially any video evidence of this happening. In addition, we can also review safety on our side when employees aren't doing something that isn't safe. We have monthly safety meetings to make sure that everything is done safely and according to OSHA law. So by having a camera, we can review our own actions that we have. And then lastly, the back side of the garage butts up to a train track. So you can come from the back side into our garage if someone did that. So it's good to have security cameras all around. Those are being installed this week. On the agenda, you'll probably notice an update to our oversized vehicles. One item I didn't catch last time was oversized vehicles. So we have ordinance and a fee for overweight. So the requirement is 80,000 pounds, and if you're more than that, you pay a fee. I didn't catch the oversized. Oversized being too long, which is 53 feet, over 13 feet tall, and I believe 6 feet wide. So if you're larger than that, you'll pay a fee into the township for the one time that you use that. So that's one item I missed last time. I hate to say it, but winter is on its way. So right now, we do have one plow truck with a plow blade on it and some salt, just in case winter doesn't early surprise. A few years ago, we had a Halloween where we got, unfortunately, some snow. So we want to make sure we're prepared ahead of time. So 10 days before Halloween, we already have a truck ready just in case something might happen there. And then as promised a long time ago, I'm in the process of getting beet juice brought into the township as a pre-treatment to the roads. So prior to a storm coming in, we're looking at using beet heat, which is a pre-treatment to the roads. This will get the snow melting earlier. It prevents bonding of, for example, like a rain to sleet mixture to the asphalt. And by pre-treating, we don't have to plow as often, so it's less hours and saves taxpayer dollars there. One little hiccup we have is that the tank that we had brine previously hasn't been used in many, many years, so right now we have to empty it. We found out that none of the pumps work, so that is being re-quoted and repaired as we go forward. Lastly here, 2 more quick items. I'm putting together a Name Your Snowplow, I would say the Name Your Snowplow event, or we'll call it an event, where people in the township will be able to pick a name, and I think we're going to pick different areas. There are 7 areas where we snowplow, and my thought here is that we're going to name a snowplow truck in each one of those areas. So it'll just be a magnet on the side of the truck, and the winning name will get the name that's snowplow for the whole year. Last but not least, I met with Ford Motor Company's electrification representative, And we're moving forward to having electric chargers at the garage and 2 placed out here in front. So thank you, Kim, for working with me on that one. Probably looking at next month that we'll have 2 chargers placed out here in front for anyone that has an electric vehicle. And that is my report.
Any questions from the trustees? Okay. Clerk's report.
Okay. So the clerk's office has been pretty quiet, except for FOIAs, right? I was away for over a week, and Katie, our deputy clerk here, she wrapped up some FOIAs that were already in progress and completed a couple others. I'm currently in the process of setting up a meeting with Greg Hart, Hinsdale's village president, and also Jack Bentley wants to meet with me on the 708 mental health board progress. So I'm working on those 2 meetings. I'm also collaborating with Supervisor Savage on recruiting possibly for the mental health board, as well as possibly I have some leads on residents that might be interested in helping us with the new Township Foundation. That is going to be in the works. Hopefully I have something to report on that in November. Any questions for the clerk's office? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. All right, is there any old business? Okay, hearing none, is there any, we have lots of new business. So is there a motion for an ordinance regulating overweight and oversized vehicles on Downers Grove Township roads or 2025-1020-1?
I will move approval of ordinance ORD-2025-1020-1.
Is there a second?
Second.
Kevin Zerba seconds. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes. Is there a motion for an ordinance authorizing the highway commissioner to utilize electronic permit systems for overweight and oversized vehicle permit administration, ORD-2025-1020-2?
So moved.
Michelle moves. Is there a second?
Second?
Rick Creel seconds. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it, motion passes. Is there a motion for an ordinance affirming highway commissioner authority to maintain clear drainage facilities and establishing drainage keep clear and green infrastructure, ORD-2025-1020-3?
So moved.
Kevin Zerba moves.
Second?
Rick Friel seconds. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Is there a motion for a resolution appointing members to the Youth Services Advisory Committee, the Mental Health Advisory Committee, and the Veterans Services Advisory Committee? That is RAS-2025-1020-1.
So moved.
Rick Friel moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Kevin Zerba seconds. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it, motion passes. Is there a motion for a resolution appointing a chair to the Mental Health Advisory Committee, RAS 2025-1020-2?
So moved.
Michelle Moreno moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Rick Friel seconds. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Is there a motion for a resolution appointing a chair to the Veterans Services Committee, RES 2025-1020-3.
Move approval of resolution RES 2025-1020-3.
Is there, that's Carol Schultz moved, is there a second?
Second.
Kevin Zerba seconds, any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it, motion passes. Is there a motion for a resolution approving the IT consulting agreement between Downers Grove Township and JRM Consulting, RES 2025-1020-4?
So
Kevin Zerba moves, is there a second? Michelle Moreno seconds. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it, motion passes. Is there a motion for a resolution of Downers Grove Township in support of the Illinois America 250 commemoration, RES 2025-1020-5?
So moved.
Creel moves, is there a second?
Second.
Carol Soul seconds. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it, motion passes. Now it is time for trustee comments and discussion. Is there any discussion or comments from the trustees?
Quick question for the highway supervisor. When you mentioned sofas getting thrown over the fence and stuff like that, in the past, the township did have a recycling program that was handled at the garage. Have you given any thought, are you familiar that there was one?
Yes, there was a recycling program. They haven't had it in a while. Downers Grove does have one. I guess the couple issues before is they were overloaded with the amount of recycling that was there. Townships do start charging, so I did see Downers Grove does charge for recycling. Some of the challenges is the separation of the electronics, certain TV screens have to have one area versus the other. That's a good question, and if there's demand, we can look at potentially bringing that back. We have to budget a certain amount of finances for it, but I guess that's something I can look at and report back in November, get a little bit more details on it. We currently don't have a recycling program, but we do in the past.
The other thing is that there is an electronics recycling in Burr Ridge Monday through Friday, and they get a lot of stuff.
Yes. I'm familiar with that, and I've used it many times, but it's in Burr Ridge.
We'll take a look at it and see what.
It would not necessarily have to be all encompassing for everybody's everything, and fees or something that could be appropriate.
Okay.
But the first question is, do you have a place to dispose of it once you get it?
Yeah.
And places to store it until you can dispose of it. Those are the things that come to mind.
That's a good question, and especially with our lack of space. I would have told you before we had issues with recycling. TVs and other electronics took up a location where we have some cells or equipment. So under Illinois law, all the equipment has to be hidden, under the roof or in the garage. And some of our equipment is challenging to get all underneath. So if we have electronics under a bay, then we have nowhere to park. And so you want to have, based on environmental laws, you really don't want electronics sitting out there in the rain for a week or for a month and snow or rain goes through those electronics and might have heavy metals that might come up. So usually they will take electronics and put it somewhere under a bed to hide it. So that's one of the challenges they have.
Sure. But the other service that could be provided that is not available in Burr Ridge is Saturday service.
Okay.
Think how many people have time during the week to run all those recycling those.
So that's a very good point.
Before 3 o'clock.
Yeah, before 3 o'clock.
Carol, I have to check, but I believe Best Buy still, or used to have a recycling program. So if you bring your own electronics to Best Buy,
familiar with that. I use Bridge, and I did use the one that was here when it was here. So,
It's been a
I
few
give
years,
this
but
to
I
you.
used it.
And
No, we'll take a,
respect your report.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it. I know we had a few TVs that we had to recycle, and I believe we took it to Downers Grove and paid a fee for Downers Grove.
Yeah.
Okay, any more trustee comments or discussion?
Well, I listened to the Spilling Village Tea podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Kim, Tamara, both of you did an excellent job.
Thank you.
Kim explaining the history of townships, and the township does. Did an excellent job.
Well, thanks. I haven't even listened to it yet. I completely forgot. Yes, I will take a look at it. I remember interviewing last month. So.
Yeah, I haven't listened to yours yet, because I didn't know it was posted.
I believe this month.
Both did a real good job.
Thanks. It was actually fun to do, and she asked some good questions, so I was happy to do it. But yeah, we should have that shared on social media, both of those, because
Definitely, yeah.
in terms of communication, which the survey indicated we need other ways of communication. Tom and I are both looking at electronic newsletters that would be more broad than just the senior newsletter that go out. And we'll be working on that. It's something else the interns can help with.
Okay, with the township website, you can just put the link onto this podcast.
Okay, any other township trustee comments and discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Carol so moved, is there a second? Kevin reserve seconds, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Use the binder right in the place. So it's called esterification or recycling, where normally if you see any roads, you'll see this machine go through it and grind up the road, spit